it's an on the floor foul or a shooting foul until the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. Here's Johnson down low, and the young gun Daishen gets on the board for the first time. Averaging better than 11.5 points per game. He knocks down the first 3 of this ball game.
And Kevin, I'm going to sound like a scout when I say this, but I got to watch him work out with the Hawks.
Daishen, Green, and Todd combined have just 2 points. How does Brian Shaw get those two going?
I mean, I'd like to see him. You know, you have some other shining stars or with some bright moments. Nix is the one guy who you can see here, who can great body control and can finish at the basket. You're doing either at a consistent clip.
Here's Jack, 5 on the shot clock. Nix, good head fake. Tries the long 2, and he's off.
That's great finish. Henry Olsen is now up to 10 for 15 shooting and 29.6 rebounds.
Hurry, there's Green.
That's the right guy. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. That's the right guy to get the ball to. Nix played well early. Opened up everything that the 905 wanted.
16 three-pointers for the 905 as Nix puts it on the floor into the arm.
Nix, that's a brick.
And not much ball movement to have 2 guards in the game, 2 point guards especially.
ISO ball there and a bad miss by Nix.
Kept a minute when it looked like it was getting away from him early. Smart drives to the rim.
Daishen Nix patiently wheels around the defender, and Weatherspoon had 3 turnovers in the first quarter. Got out of quarantine protocols just the other day, had about a practice as Austin had a couple of days off. A 17-0 first quarter run, creating some separation. And now Nix driving in with a hard take. Stop the run. Nix misses a 3, Renfro misses a layup. The next trip down off a broken play, Jalen Green goes in for a layup. This is and Cameron Reynolds, Nate Renfro, Kyrie Thomas, Galen Robinson Jr. And going with Quindary Weatherspoon instead of Adam Makoka to start the third. Fifth.
Mentioned earlier, that 5th seed doesn't look too great to me. Delaware, I'm high on, and that's who they would have with the loss here. And see if they can get. That's how it has to be if you're Ignite. Coach Shaw is probably very pleased with that turn of events right there.
To Santa Cruz, and with the loss, Austin will drop to the 5 seed. Start on that feeling, because if they did not pull off the victory tonight, they would not be playoff bound. Nix right to the rim.
And I think, David, you know, the nerves, that they all know what's at stake, and you want them to play under control. Like I said, play like this is any other great finish.
Daishen Nix open for 3, weak side rebound.
Elimination.
Yeah, single elimination for the 8 playoff teams next week, but for Rio Grande Valley, they're already in playoff mode. A loss today, and they're out of the play. Notice that your team is not responding in the way that you were hoping. And he said, I got a couple of jokes in my back pocket ready to go. I don't think he's used them yet.
I would love to know.
3 minutes to go, first half, as head coach Brian Shaw watches his young...
With their 3-point attempt performance right now.
They are ahead of their season pace. He wants the 60. They've gotten 51 in a game.
Out there, you know, obviously you get a couple of games on your belt, you start to figure out how the game is played. But no, he does not. None of these kids look like 18, 19-year-olds anymore, man. So
playoffs begin Monday. We'll start on ESPN2 with games at 1:30 and 3:45 Eastern. Then over to ESPN News at 6 o'clock. A member of the coaching staff on Ignite. I don't think they're going to admit it. You probably get away a lot more with the masks on as Nix gets all the way in.
Learn terminology. They learn different defensive schemes. They learn what things will work for them at the next level. And, you know, they
Agua Caliente leading by 13, back to their starting 5. Daishen Nix on the drive, missing. Back with Agua Caliente to close out the season. Nix driving in to the left hand, and another missed layup.
Here, get out of here. It's my turn to step back, take the shot, and look for the shot. And then Terry is what he does.
Even your description a couple of plays ago about how Todd raced to set the screen. You know, just those little aspects that make the difference at the next level.
Yeah, absolutely do. Oh my.
.8:30 to go in regulation. Coffee heaving at the end of the shot. So if Nix is
a steadying presence for this team.
Ford answers.
You better get up on that, young man.
I want to call Delaware Philadelphia at every turn. I don't know if it's the blue uniforms or the fact they've got, obviously, the affiliation. But I haven't done it yet. Nick's got it blocked by Rab. Frazier finishing in transition.
Yeah, block shot working almost like a top him, and wants to make sure everyone sees. I didn't realize he had the basketball. But
This player of the week in that very first week, and he's largely continued that. Daishen Nix getting the second half start, gets the bucket after ENU, and then Saturday their finale against Austin at 7 Eastern ESPN Plus to finish off their regular season. We're going to go double box here because
3 too strong.
Another stop for Ignite.
Daishen Nix rises. Left it shorts.
Great for Canton. Both ends of the floor. I mean, picking up right when they cross half court, and on offense being just as aggressive as these Ignite guys going to the basket.
And Nix and nails it. A big 3. Final seconds, first quarter. Nix has to launch and airballs it. His 2 at the line. The charge back up. And here's Nix working through the defense and calling his own number. Tyshawn Alexander with his first one of the night.
Corner threes, open corner threes specifically. Best shots in basketball right now.
Nix, 9-point advantage with under 3 to play in the quarter. Nix lays it in off the feed from Isaiah.
I'd be surprised at all if they don't let Blakeney get off another shot here before the end of this quarter.
Nix going down the lane, muscles it in for 2.
A little bit there.
Jack said, we'll get back to that in a moment. Nix down the lane, couldn't get it high off the window. Bird, McHale, Parrish, Aaron said, you know, this is what I learned from the veterans in that core group that is certainly one of the greatest NBA teams of all time, and also talking about Pointer deep in the paint, has it rejected by Bolden. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Nix had it taken away by Thomas. Here's Nix all the way, contested at the rim, and the first
shooter. And he lines it up and gets 2 feet set behind 3, hands ready. You can forget about it.
nice drive. What body control right there by Daishen.
The one thing I will say, though, Kevin, is I'm wondering how the quarantine window affects player movement. You know, from the G League.
He possesses. I said to you in one of the commercial breaks, he just has things that other human beings don't have.
Yes, it's very apparent. And it's the effortless athleticism, as Brian Shaw described it to us. Good finish.
And can contribute to an NBA roster.
As Gillespie dunks with the left hand. Well, look, and listen, a 37-year-old point guard who's been there, done that for a team that's looked.
Just get his legs under him, get him minutes, and now it's about being a little bit more efficient in the time he's on the floor.
Nix behind a screen. And Buchanan the rebound. 3 on the way by spinning into the lane, has it taken away. Well, that effort by Kuminga may be igniting the ignite. It's been something of a slog here for them throughout this game. Caver's second leading scorer on this Hustle team at 16.5 points per game. He's in double figures. Porter's in double figures, led by Antonio Blakeney. And then Monday against Delaware, 3 Eastern here on ESPN2. All of these games available on the ESPN app. Might be these young guys trying to showcase themselves. He said it's been just the other way around.
Yeah.
Nice looking drive and finish by Nix. Here's Nix. Good body control, but
Right. This is not like some progression. We're talking a few months ago. Daishen Nix. 12-point Long Island lead. Ignite on a second day of a back-to-back. Daishen Nix spinning inside, and finally a box out. Hobo misses. Nix into the post, using his size. That's blocked by Owen. Twelve teams have open roster spots.
That's part of learning the process of being a pro, is taking care of your body when it's tired, sore.
Daishen Nix.
In a player. Wait, why is he holding that left out? That was the right hand. That was a catfish.
Here's Nix to beat the buzzer. And a
Vision and his willingness to share the ball.
not everyone can score 30 points.
Definitely not. Oh, I wanted it to go in.
One snap in this 2-game skid.
But yeah, and you know, you can just tell that they of course want to be in the playoffs as Nix gets a basket. You love it.
As a team, Ignite has assisted on 8 of 9 field goals.
I'll take that assist percentage.
You'd have to believe.
You haven't thought about lacing them up for Derek Alston in an October tryout?
There's nothing of that interests me. Per G League team, I think. Kind of tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, it's a requirement also.
Nix spinning. Too strong.
Point has been
5 in double figures. League that used to feature 28 teams, or still does, but only 17 participating at the single site. Daishen Nix missed a wide. Iggy with the 4. Good looking stroke for Harper. That's his first point since the first quarter. He had 11 in the opening frame. He was scoring his 3rd overtime 3.
A trifecta of trifectas.
Brasdake.
Everything here in regulation, and that one, in overtime I should say, and that one does it.
Flips out, Nix there, following the green as Winston knocks down a 3.
Wow, Cassius Winston's really feeling it early in this game, and nice job by Erie using the screens. They work together. They're missing their over.
Ignite has already turned it over 5 times.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch the passing of this Erie team, they make a lift.
Brian Shaw doesn't really have to worry about that type of roster turnover. His lineup set, especially from,
because no matter who you are, you're going to face nights like this as a pro. It's about, you know, how you respond to it, and it may not end in you winning the game. It's going to be pretty hard at this. You and I talked earlier about Sioux Falls, just how that threw me for a loop. I was like, wait, Miami, Sioux Falls, let's nice aspect of this offense that Coach Pannone talked to us about is basically time per touch, making quick decisions with the ball. And he said Jared Uthoff is one of the best at that.
Daishen Nix driving in.
Ignite called.
Momentum into the front court for Nix. Gets it back from Demps.
You stay in the rhythm of what you've done to this point. You know, that's one thing I can appreciate from my college basketball experience is that, you know, you're always going to look at film even when you win.
The experimental G League free throw rule for the first 10 minutes of this quarter, and then in the final 2, it's back to the traditional NBA standard as Daishen perhaps not be as part of the main rotation, but a great opportunity for Singh to get his first action on the floor for Ignite.
Yeah, Brian, come on. Taylor with the finish there, but...
Was that a trash-talking smile?
Yeah, that's a trash-talking smile. I mean, if it was anything that could ignite team, but again, you just can't dwell on it. It's not something, you got a quick turnaround. You got a lot of games ahead of you. This is an adjustment.
Well, can I play? And he did. Nix off target. Just a sign of a guy that recognized the best way for him to stay sharp that league. Nix, no. Hall, yes. Canyon Barry could not hit on the reverse, and now Daishen Nix, 1-on-3, powering his way in, and good defense by Canyon Barry. I think is a three-point guy. His third triple. You can hear Jared Jack saying attack it with the shot clock winding down. Nix forces it up, and Daishen. So deadlocked at 85. And maybe the best closer in the league, and Jack on the floor, finding Nix. It's a triple. Jared Jack, 37 years old. You mentioned a moment ago, Rebecca, that shot clock. There you go. Rebounded by Hall.
Remember, the Wolves have lost all 3 of their games. 2 of them have been close.
Iowa had a 7-point lead entering the 4th.
Terminó en puntos el ataque de los Raptors, que tienen 2 de ventaja cuando vamos a entrar a los últimos 4 minutos de este primer cuarto. Secoltivo. Hablando de la ofensiva de los Raptors, Stauskas ya consiguió con 7 unidades. Stauskas ya tiene 10 de los 22 de su equipo. Vino la respuesta rápida, y de acuerdo contigo, es como muchas veces sacrificar muy poco tiempo o ahorrarse muy poco tiempo por algo que probablemente no valga la pena, o por algo que probablemente le quite dramatismo, Jalen Harris pegó en el aro, el rebote es para el Ignite, la tiene que intentar de larga distancia y la con
76 intentos. Steph Curry lo retó a una competencia, ya Steph Curry como el dios de los triples, ¿no? El jugador universitario, y el aguafiestas.
Vino la respuesta por parte de Tyree, a quien le taparon el disparo. Ahora el Ignite con oportunidad de tomar ventaja. Y llegó Nix para contar otros 2. La respuesta también con puntos por parte de
Gary Payton. No le ha dado, para ser una estrella de la NBA como lo fuera su papá con los Supersonics, también campeón con el equipo del Heat.
Hasta el otro lado, ahora Demps nuevamente atrás, vino el tiro de Hearn desde muy lejos.
Pues yo también le reconozco su forma de pensar, pues que piense que para la historia siempre quedará el título colegial de Michael Jordan y luego ser una leyenda en el profesional. Bueno, es de las cosas que tiene que desarrollar antes de llegar a la NBA, pasando por aquí, ¿no? ¿Cómo cuidas el balón? Porque es lo que te digo, pues lo primero que necesitas de un point guard, que no pierde el balón 6 veces, inmediatamente consigue los puntos con una facilidad al estilo Kevin Durant.
Y vamos a ver qué tanto, pues, influye el regreso de Jalen Green, ¿no? Que ya vimos protegiéndola, cuidándola, haciendo tiempo también, ganando en segundos, que es lo más valioso ahora. Y la termina con puntos.
be at home, different kind of change of pace and lifestyle. And we all know how important in these times that we're in right now, you know, that is.
But you see he's got a big, strong frame as well.
Daishen Nix getting deep, and the Baltimore, Maryland natives foul. There's a reset timeout that you can use under 2 minutes without huddling up as Daishen Nix scores that time.
There he goes again.
Wards him off, late shot clock. Nice job by Todd defensively. Nix and one. Little flush. Jordan Poole. And the word from Steve Kerr, the Warriors head coach, as Nix misses there. Todd was his first. The Warriors with a quick 5-0 burst to open up the second quarter. Nix passing out. We have about a half minute to go here in the first half. Shot clock at 2. Nix with the hot potato hits the 3.
You know, instead of trying to fit into a certain system that your NBA parent team runs, he said, we're just working on the organic, generic actions that you will see many.
Getting it done. I have an interesting story about Nick Stauskas we'll talk about later.
There's Nix, a little two-man game, and a nice-looking finish there by Amir Johnson.
You're able to get the guys, Jalen Green and the company, get them loose. I mean, Nix has been playing decent. I mean, great pass and great finish. I mean, that's what you need to do. Get out and is that you have to figure out if you're gonna hit shots, you have to make a play for someone else because that's a tough no call. That's a tough finish.
Drop them back to 5th as Kyrie Thomas opens up the scoring for Austin. Amir.
Echo your words, David, 1,000%, man. Amir
Johnson from Knicks. Weatherspoon gets his first bucket. Coming off of off-season knee surgery, has played only 5 games for the San Antonio Spurs. This is Reynolds on the cut to his weak hand. Ignite has it up by 14. Look away pass underneath the Todd, who slams. Nix takes it from Green, so he can take it up the floor. Entry into Todd, turning the corner, laying it in, and starting 5 back out there for Ignite. That includes Jalen Green, Isaiah Todd, Amir Johnson, Daishen Nix, and Jared Jack that this bubble has provided them. And you know, it's on to 2021, you know, in the sense that, you know, there are 6 McDonald's All-Americans as Todd prospects will be coming through the Ignite pipeline.
And I'm sure whoever they're talking to, they're watching this game and seeing this excitement and seeing.
Sing in and out. Rio Grande Valley, a loss today and they're out. How do you take those parameters with you into a game?
Well, if I'm the Ignite, well, if I'm both.
Trevelyan Queen knocks down a 3 to tie it up at 9. Deep look for Bobby Brown.
My encouraging speech just then really helped, you know, put a shining moment here. Oh my. Oh.
In his second year playing on assignment for the Rockets. Nix playing in the pick and roll to Johnson. In the past, the finals was a best of 3, but this time it'll be winner take all.
It's exciting.
Just adds to that March Madness element, I think, right?
Yeah.
8:20 to go first half. Todd on the fadeaway, and that has been his game.
#1 pick in the draft, and sometimes, you know, they're looking over there, thinking about their points and not understanding. It's so much more about the other things and how you're going to help your team win.
Take part in the NBA dunk contest this weekend on a 2-way deal with the Pacers. Jonathan Kuminga has been
best acumen, but he said, I do know he can get buckets. He's gotten buckets today.
It's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
3 for 3. Demps at the horn hits. And that one will count. 34-21 after one quarter.
Then drive inside. We didn't see enough of that kind of ball movement in the first half.
Another turnover, a 3-on-1. Nice lefty flip, so impressive down in the G League bubble.
Now up to 13 points. He heard you a couple minutes ago saying we haven't been calling his name a ton today.
Call my name. He's got a
And Randolph just a little too strong there, and Todd there for the board.
Good D there by Demp, standing Levi Randolph up, who's a big body. A nice stroke by that off in time, but good shot by Aaron Epps, who is a very capable shooter. Used to be with the Northern Arizona Suns, hitting shots just like that.
Easy two for Amir Johnson with his second units. Lob inside, Johnson with the mouse in the house, ties it up.
What a position. So they just been turning it up on the defensive end.
Nix flips it back. Ashley, he's got it. It's a grabs his own miss. And up the other way, Nix ahead of the pack, tracks it down. And now a lob inside for Kuminga, showing off his athletic ability.
Defensively now, but Ignite overall has been playing the better defense. If Canton wants to take this lead now, they got to come together with some stops.
Kuminga connects. Randolph off the mark there. Jack into the lane, and the runner goes. First miss. Now Kuminga floats it to Nix. No look pass to Isaiah Todd. Charge still down 14 after the Blakeney miss. Johnson puts it in with.
Despite us being in a pandemic and doing it safely has been fantastic. I mean, you know, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of people.
Burr in our saddle here, that rule this afternoon. Here's Todd, top of the key, and a good-looking stroke by
Instantly for Ignite today.
We see Principal Singh in the game, and with the ball, and with the dunk. What a... Ben Levy content to just take the shot clock, or the shot clock violation here. Time will run out as Singh launches a three.
Well, I think that's a different dynamic, too, with veterans and young guys, because a veteran might... Their coach might be telling them, listen, I don't need you to go out and get 20 points.
He's shooting the lights out right now. Jarrett Jack knocks down another three, and speaking of playing well, he's up to 9 points. We come up on 4 minutes here in this fourth quarter of what's been a very entertaining game. Kuminga fires the...
The intended target was Tariq Owens, who just checked in for Long Island. Here's Todd fading away.
If the problem essentially is the length of the game, just shorten the game.
Thrown up to Dante Hall.
6-point lead for Greensboro. Daishen Nix, a nice look inside to Johnson, and one for Amir.
That's the best part, because you knew you had to come ready, so you didn't have nights that you could just take off, because it didn't matter who they were. They were going to try their best. They were going to prepare their best. And, you know, this is such an opportunity to get good looks, to play against good competition so people can see. Beautiful pass right there.
Daishen Nix, Riller missing with the left hand. You'll hear coaches say a bad shot is like a turnover, but that is a good shot in 2021.
Yeah, and I like the design of that play that Ignite was trying to get. Hit one of the pinch posts and have the other one dive and see how the defense reacts. He can get to the paint at will. He's so quick. And the defense of Ignite, they have to do a better job of rotating early.
That was a nice pocket pat.
It has, and you know, I love that two-man action between Simmons and Carey, because it's difficult. You're looking at Simmons, who's getting to the paint at will, and then he just drops it to his big man and Carey.
Daishen Nix has a clear lane. Nice drop off to Johnson for the lay-in.
Be ready. They're preparing to be unprepared, in a sense of you never know when your roster is going to change, and that's what you want. So it's like you said, it's a catch-22, Faith, but if you're Greensboro, you need to start now, and that's not going to happen on that block right there.
Nix behind the back to Todd, and that's a foul. Gems. He's got a 10-day with Sacramento before. Good ball movement around the perimeter. Jared Jackson.
I mean, just showing that he can be an ultimate team player.
Nice pass inside to Govan, who puts it up and in. That's assist number 12. And
House would love to see from him, because just in this day of the NBA, if you're a big, you need to be a big that can shoot.
Jalen Green, a corner triple.
They've taken care of the ball so far. Just 2 turnovers through the first 9 minutes. They lead the league in that category. And that's a teen yesterday, a 10-point effort after he had the high of his season in 31. Interesting to see how the rookie bounces back. 4 to shoot. Iggy on the drive. His shot rejected. The run out. Jalen Green. And Daishen Nix, who had a birthday performance for the ages over the weekend with 25 points. Daishen Nix driving in.
Knight called a clear out for Nix. But help defense got there. In blocking statistics for me in this game, David, is yes, the 3-point shooting of Erie versus Ignite, but also the rebound.
Closing moments of what has been an impressive performance by Erie, really from the jump. And Nix throws it for Kuminga.
Here in this G League bubble with 2-way players for both teams.
Yeah, also mentioned the executive vice president of basketball. End of the shot clock, Nix to Demps for 3.
Yeah, Nix is really good at that. I mean, getting inside, finishing, kicking, paint touch, kicking, and eventually finding Barry for the open 3. Really putting pressure on the Ignite D.
Nice touch there by Jesse Govan. Nix missed his first 4. He's made 3 of his last 4. Still a 2-possession game.
Exactly.
Con la ciudad de los equipos originales. Todo este torneo, toda esta mini temporada. ¡Ah, qué buena jugada! En el segundo intento, ahora sí. Vino la respuesta por parte de Alice Johnson para aumentar a 4. Primera vez en la duela para los Raptors. Siguiendo par de unidades. Ahora viene la respuesta. Uy.
En colegial, Emmanuel Mudiay, jugador profesional, ahora sin equipo, pero de la NBA, es primo de ellos y bueno, lo falló para venir acá.
Tampoco consiguió puntos Tyree. Y nuevamente Daishen Nix, ya con menos de 4 minutos. Green se tiene fe. Y se van a bajar más al reloj y pueden terminar con más puntos. A Kuminga no le importó mucho lo del reloj. Sí.
Isaiah Todd, corner throw.
Don't do that. Don't do that to Moses.
Yeah,
he doesn't deserve that.
I suppose Shaq kind of palmed it a bit more than the actual shooting stroke, as Todd, there he is grabbing the rebounds. Nix, nicely for...
Oh, drive and kick, and Nix that time with the steal. Skip it across to the veteran Jarrett Jack. Welcome back the next day to the next city, which is, part of the building blocks of a pro career. Maybe they won't be flying commercial at some point. As Jarrett Jack hits a triple from outside. Final 40 seconds of the third quarter.
In the third quarter, I mean, I know Jalen Green's got hot, but you can't completely forget about Isaiah Todd.
It would be one free throw for 3 points. Some of the experimental rules the G League has. And if you miss, 0 points in the.
Tiene una red de apoyo en los Estados Unidos. Su hermano juega en colegial. Emmanuel Moutier.
Really having a hand in the passing lane, shading on their men because they know right now Ignite aren't really hitting that many jump shots. And they want to see some body movement. I think right now, defensively, the 905, they're able to just sit off of their defender.
You want as many easy buckets as you can get to start.
Renfro intercepts and leads the break. Locates Thomas. In and out. Roster, there have been contributions.
Everyone.
Nix defending McCoke. Jalen Green for Ignite, ready to check in. Next dead ball. Weatherspoon off the.
These guys are pioneers. I mean, this is the first group who is doing this, getting to play against, you know, these professional teams, and they'll play the best of the best. There it is. It's good to have a free throw to go down. That gives them points, but they wanted a field goal for him. So.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say I would love to know what the jokes were and if he's used them yet. Right now, he probably did not do it, or maybe he did.
And just such an incredible person, and you find that out right away, and the momentum.
I'll just say, what up, boss?
You know, just in case you were looking for another job post-play. He's got the three. And now the steal in the backcourt. Setting up Palmer Jr.
That's a floater coming.
Instead, he'll kick it to the corner. And that.
Life is busy, and sometimes odors can sneak up on you. For a convenient life hack, try Febreze Unstoppables Fabric Refresher. With 2 times the scent power of regular Febreze.
Said before the season started, he said he's been our most consistent player. He was really surprised that Todd was not yet listed. And really nice job on that last drive. He had spacing because the defense went out to Jalen Green to the right corner because he's been shooting so well.
Jag coming away with that one. Final 4.5 minutes. Lob toward Green. Great grab and flush.
Perfectly placed pass.
He wants it again. Nice anticipation by Todd. Now to Randolph. G. Near alley-oop. Off the mark intended for Todd. Mack trying to take advantage. Out to Blakeney. Charge trying to settle things down after giving up a 16-point lead earlier in the half.
Yeah, maybe get a steady dose of Blakeney here. He's an excellent scorer.
One with Nix. Gives it up to Thomas. Thomas flips it back. Alexander again. Nice save by Alexander. Now it's Randolph. Short on a mid-range J. Alexander. Help now in the backcourt. Antonio Blakeney has been an answer here in the third. And now moving to the fourth.
Dante Hall was called up by the Raptors earlier today. Jesse Govan got the start. He played well in the first half, but Porter swings to Anthony Cowan. And a heads-up play by Boatwright.
Guys who are playing in college right now, or even when they're playing on the AAU circuit, they're playing a lot of games in a day in AAU, but not games that have this kind of... Ignite lucky that he missed that one because there was not a defender near him. Ignite needs to amp up their games in 4 days right there. It doesn't get any easier.
I mean, we are cramming them in this condensed 15-game regular season. So the Ignite will finish the game without one of their young stars, Jonathan Kuminga. Stockton gets it back. Shot clock doesn't reset.
Yeah, certainly, and you know, as a player, you just try to control what you can control, and that's how you play every day in practice and in games. Nice shot.
Wide open for Bowden. He knocks the other end, and that's Amir Johnson.
Up three, there's Todd. We talked about his shooting stroke, that one off the mark. Then in transition, a three for Todd there. He loves that little fall away. He's so adept at hitting that shot.
Listen, I just think that's awareness. You know, you have some of the tallest, biggest players in the league. They don't do it. It's just an awareness thing. But I'm sure those men that wear size 20.
And there's that bench you were talking about, Renee. They're all loving it.
And I'm telling you, there's no better feeling than when you're playing well, the team is playing well, and the bench is behind you.
Have an opening. And so as we kid about this idea of you putting every player on the floor into the NBA, you'd expect to see a fair amount of the...
It's about fit, it's about situation.
Andrew,
so on and so forth. So it's about getting in where you fit in.
You know, it's so interesting you mentioned Van Vliet because Harper draining clock. Patton comes up to set the high screen, but he retreats. He gets it. Corner.
You know what's interesting is it seemed like his first offensive option, right, was transition. And then that second layer was if we have to go deep into the clock.
7 rebounds in the first half for Hall. Also one of the league's better defensive players. You
got to get it up pretty quickly.
It almost seemed like Iowa... Ty Jerome knocks down a 3.
Stages of the second quarter when Santa Cruz had a 10-point lead. Poole peels out, 10 to shoot.
Night go to their veterans. I mean, 2 veterans who's been around the league and played in significant games in the NBA. So they bring that into giving these kids an opportunity to make a little money. You know, once they you hope finish high school, and if they don't have any.
13-point Raptors 9:05 lead as Johnson spins.
Can't even play zone, so I'd like to see some traps. And that's even dangerous because they have so many guys that's scoring. Like, I mean, look at that. They're just.
What does it say about Amir that he has come to play in a way that he has?
Yeah, that says something for one, but Brian Shaw starting. What a pass by Cody Demps there. These two are former teammates with the Stockton Kings and looking like they played together right now.
Single elimination starting Monday. That's something that G Leaguers...
He just looks better and better every game, as does Isaiah Todd. Jalen Green has looked pretty comfortable from the jump, so is Kuminga. But the other guys are...
Unit, and you say, oh yeah, just stick to the script. And it's one thing talking about it, and it's another thing actually going out there and execute.
His ability to score in the paint is impressive.
Not lanky. Daishen Nix, original plan when the team was announced 11 months ago. And so a lot of credit to these NBA draft eligible prospects.
Malachi Richardson into the lane, lost the handle but got it back. Point game. Dotson with an isolation, working by Nix, and another nice hand off to Dotson. Now it's Epps inside, couldn't finish.
Before, he's much more comfortable doing that shot than anything around that painted area.
And now a foul called on Cody. Randolph into the lane, has it blocked by Todd.
So many incredible players on the floor here in the G League, just trying for an opportunity to get to that level. Good looking
over. In fact, they have 18 points off 11 Ignite turnovers. And get down the court, but when the other team is shooting threes in particular, they're closer to the defensive end. They can get back and defend, and they've been getting drive and kick offense here from Salt Lake City, and great collapse and not be hesitant on the drive.
Right, the fine line between bull rushing opponents as he did in high school and now at the NBA level. 7 on the shot clock and a big-time drive and finish by 3.
Always interested, though, to see what a coach draws up coming out of the timeout, and that time it was to get Kuminga a look.
Nice feed by Caver, and Gillespie is
close late, and he has made some really good decisions.
Terry all the way on
my left, that's where he finished.
But to your point before the break, just no hesitation, just commitment to the decision making there.
Yeah.
Reggie Perry in the post. Shannon Scott into a wide open paint.
Back to another, Knicks to Todd.
And there's so many different ways to show your value.
Notes that you do for Santa Cruz. You don't have that breakdown?
You know what? I'm actually not doing the game notes this year. Shannon Stabler gracefully took them away from me.
First shot attempt has checked in for Jared Harper. Brazdakis caught it at
Hall again. This team is really playing well together as a team.
What a stark difference from yesterday's outing. In the second round, you could catch that game on ESPN+. And for Canton, a day after that last free throw was worth 2 points, he hit an earlier free throw that was worth 3. And so he's been able to really help his...
El broche de oro al primer cuarto. Qué clase de jugada, qué clase de disparo de Daishen ya casi con el reloj. Vienen los Raptors otra vez. Harris, Harris la arriesgó demasiado, la estaba perdiendo, la recuperó bien.
De estos equipos de la G-League, el más nuevo, apenas se están conociendo y todo eso lleva tiempo y coordinación. 16. Tiene una red de apoyo en los Estados Unidos, su hermano juega en colegial, Emmanuel Moutier.
Baja otra vez para el Ignite, que poco a poco va sentenciando el partido. Respuesta de los Raptors. Qué
passing.
Yeah, I really like that play by Todd, even though he couldn't get it to go, because he made the right cut.
And how the younger guys see that and can learn from that.
Nice job defensively down low that time by Amir Johnson, another NBA vet. Save on the free throws. We might have lost on review. Cody Demps will feed Amir Johnson.
Honda SUVs, crossovers, and more. That means HRV, the Honda CRV, and the American-built Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline. So
for these young guys on the defensive end, understanding what certain language means so you can run certain schemes.
Good ball fake. Jordan Poole. Offensive rebound. Floater to the rim, and Wesson, who got to stay in the game, gets 2. The ball, but in the G League, they changed the shot clock to 14 seconds. So that changes the strategy a little bit.
In this one, Stauskas too strong on the layup attempt. Mooney gives it up. Ellenson there to finish.
Great offensive.
Into double figures, he's got 12. Bounce pass and the roll for Jair in this second half, a 34-20 third quarter. Quindary Weatherspoon back up with it. 10 rebounds as well.
Must be the shoes, David.
Always the shoes. When things caliente, then he was recalled back to the Los Angeles Clippers, played in a handful of games, and now this is...
The paint is impressive.
Not lanky. Daishen Nix.
And a miss from Kuminga, so we got 3 of the young guys on the floor at the same time right now for Ignite, and here's their leader of the pack. There would be 1 free throw per 3 points, some of the experimental rules the G League has, and if you miss, 0 points in the...
High scoring affair to start this one.
Definitely is.
Nice bounce pass inside. McCallum finding Westchester.
And tonight it's been Isaiah Todd off the bench to lead the team with 14 points. Good curling action. Tyler Hall. They couldn't execute down the stretch yesterday against Long Island in a loss. Shitu. Inga got called for the offensive foul with Jordan Bell drawing it. Bell on the other end, skipping it. Baseline drive.
18 years old, so young. Kuminga, I think, is only 18 years old.
18 G League teams are down there competing in 15 games over 25 days and tough ankle injury. His return expected later this week. Hall misses the free throw. Lead is...
Muchas veces sacrificar muy poco tiempo o ahorrarse muy poco tiempo por algo que probablemente no va.
Tiene una red de apoyo en los Estados Unidos. Su hermano juega en colegial. Emmanuel Moutier.
Poner al Ignite a 1 cuando vamos a entrar al último minuto de juego en esta primera mitad. Vino la respuesta por...
But then the touch to shoot that off the glass. He didn't even have a great angle on that, honestly.
Jason Randall going right at...
So that's a lineup that he puts in, hoping that the young guy is learning from Jack.
Believe it's the first time to...
13-point Raptors 9:05 lead as Johnson spins.
Open, but he just forced the issue and, you know, inserted his will into that play and just was determined to get to the rim. What a pass by Cody Demps there. These two are former teammates with the Stockton Kings and looking like they played together right now.
Single elimination starting Monday. That's something that G Leaguers...
Point game. Dotson with an isolation. Working by Nix. And another nice help now in the backcourt. Antonio Blakeney has been an answer here in the third. And now moving to the fourth. Randolph into the lane, has it blocked by Todd.
Over. In fact, they have 18 points off 11 Ignite turnovers. And get down the court, but when the other team is shooting threes in particular, they're closer to the defensive end. They can get back and defend, and they've been getting...
That Pacers star, Domantas Sabonis, likely to replace Kevin Durant.
Notes that you do for Santa Cruz. You don't have that breakdown?
You know what? I'm actually not doing the game notes this year. Shannon Stabler gracefully took them away from me.
That last free throw was worth 2 points. He had an earlier free throw that was worth 3. And so he's been able to really help his... 7 seconds to go, third quarter. Jerome, Crafty, G-League Ignite, and the Oklahoma City Blue starting the fourth quarter with LaChina Robinson, David Resnick.
And how the younger guys see that and can learn from that.
Nice job defensively down low that time by Amir Johnson, another NBA vet. The ball, but in the G League, they changed the shot clock to 14 seconds. So that changes the strategy a little bit.
Really having a hand in the passing lane, shading on their men because they know right now Ignite aren't really hitting that many jump shots. And
these guys are pioneers. I mean, this is the first group who is doing this, getting to play against, you know, these professional teams, and they'll play the best of the best.
And Michael Frazier got the bucket.
It's not usually your fault when you lose a guy on a back screen. Your big has to step off and help at least for a second. Offensively, but 11 boards, 3 assists. Still absolutely making his presence felt without the basketball in his hands, which is one of the things they want him to. Games in 4 days right there. Doesn't get any easier.
I mean, we are cramming them in this condensed 15-game regular season.
It's about fit, it's about situation.
Andrew,
giving these kids an opportunity to make a little money. You know, once they you hope finish high school, and if they don't have any.
What does it say about Amir that he has come to play in a way that he has?
Yeah, that says something for one, but Brian Shaw starting here.
Having to ask that question, what's it like being Bobby Brown, the basketball player?
Yeah, he's responded to that different times, saying that...
I'll just say, what up, boss?
You know, just in case you were looking for another job post-playing.
His ability to score in the paint is impressive.
Not lanky. Daishen Nix. Jalen Green crossing over. Oh, Jalen Green spikes it above the rim.
Chip game, it might as well be to UConn, right?
Some might say that.
Charge trying to settle things down after giving up a 16-point lead earlier in the half.
Yeah, maybe get a steady dose of Blakeney here. He's an excellent scorer. Before, he's much more comfortable doing that shot than anything around that painted area.
And now a foul called on Cody.
He was not of his offense. He shot 50% from the field and had 23 points, but he got a defensive stop late, and he wanted to show the young guys on this.
So many incredible players on the floor here in the G League, just trying for an opportunity to get to that level. Good-looking drive.
And not be hesitant on the drive.
Right, the fine line between bull rushing opponents as he did in high school and now at the NBA level. Blew it, bouncing off Nix and has it batted out of bounds. 7 on the shot clock and a big-time drive and finish by
Ignite lucky that he missed that one because there was not a defender near him. Ignite needs to amp up there.
The other end, and that's Amir Johnson.
Back to another, Nix to Todd.
And there's so many different ways to show your value. Yeah, and you can just see the disappointment on players' faces, knowing that you only have a handful of games. That was a tough pass there.
And there's that bench you were talking about, Renee. They're all loving it.
And I'm telling you, there's no better feeling than when you're playing well, the team is playing well, and the bench is behind you.
In the second round, you could catch that game on ESPN+. And for Canton, a day after, down to 7 to shoot. A day Murky will trigger and connect.
De estos equipos de la G-League, el más nuevo, apenas se están conociendo y todo eso lleva tiempo y coordinación.
Passing.
Yeah, I really like that play by Todd, even though he couldn't get it to go because he made the right cut.
Points in a hurry. There's Green. And
that's
it's
the right
cleaned up
guy.
by Payton.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. That's the right guy to get the ball to.
Spurs this year. Amir Johnson, a perfect 5 of 5 start from the field, 10 points.
Chip game, it might as well be to UConn, right?
Some might say that.
Stop him and wants to make sure everyone sees. I didn't realize he had out to the three-point line, make the extra pass, then drive inside. We didn't see enough of that kind of ball movement in the first half.
Now the turn, Ignite and Delaware off to a great start in the bubble, so little upset building next door at the Fieldhouse.
It's brewing.
Drive and kick offense here from Salt Lake City, and great collapse.
And they're going to play through Gillespie. He had it batted away by Nix. Forward thinking, right, for sponsorship dollars. I like it. Here's Gillespie drawing the double team, and again he has it.
Isaiah Todd denied.
Yeah, and you can just see the disappointment on players' faces, knowing that you only have a handful of games. That was a tough pass there.
The team made up of 4 top 100 prospects in the high school class of 2020, along with Smith. Played and coached a number of games over the course of his basketball life at the wide world of sports when he returned for the start.
Delivery included with Prime.
Jared Jack, 37 years old.
Tuvo tiempo para acomodarse, no tenía nadie cerca, pero después no encontró el triple y luego
decided to score.
See that ball go through the net. Drive and kick, and Nix.